We know that this country, the defining feature of it is pervasive racism. That's what the left tells us. And we need to root that out from the very, very beginning, which is why now in New Jersey, 5-year-olds in kindergarten are receiving training in diversity, equity, and inclusion. They are receiving so-called anti-racism training. The Democratic governor of New Jersey, Phil Murphy, signed this bill into law, forcing teachers to instruct students as young as 5 in diversity and inclusion and equity and tolerance and belonging in connection with gender and sexual orientation, race and ethnicity, disabilities, and religious tolerance. Now, forget, whenever you hear this term diversity, inclusion, and equity, or any permutation of that, what that means is leftist orthodoxy. That's what they're going to be trained in from a young age. And I've seen some people protest this, and they've said, babies aren't racist is another one, or, little children aren't bigoted, and we don't need to teach them this. If you want to have this kind of program of education, wait until later. I think those conservative critics are totally missing the point. This makes perfect sense. If you want to get your country to be more left-wing, it's not going to be nearly as useful to teach 18-year-olds as it will be to teach 8-year-olds, as it will be to teach 5-year-olds. The younger kids are, the more malleable their minds are. The less they know, the easier it is to shape the way that they view themselves, the way they view the world, the way that they view the country. And so, absolutely, if I were a left-winger, I'd want to get into the kindergartens. Frankly, I think we should get into the kindergartens as conservatives and teach students not this radical gender theory or whatever. We should get into the kindergartens and teach them what they were once taught in kindergarten. Namely, George Washington was a good guy. Our country is a good country, a country that you ought to have loyalty and respect for, that God exists, that we believe certain things and we don't believe other things. We ought to teach them those. Children will be taught values. It is not possible to have education without values. I know there's this kind of liberal dream among left-wing liberals, but even some right-wing liberals, people who say, I want to get the indoctrination out of the classroom. I just want them to learn their arithmetic and, the 3 R's or no. It doesn't work that way. Education is about the whole person. It's about developing virtues, suppressing vices, understanding how to view the world. And the left is very successful at this, and the right is very unsuccessful at this. Because this is actually the topic of my book, my upcoming book that Amazon is almost certainly going to cancel, Speechless: Controlling Words, Controlling Minds. We conservatives like to believe that we understand education so much better than the left does. We understand free speech so much better than the left does. I don't think we do. I think that the left, and I think the intellectual leftists who developed this system that we now call wokeism or political correctness or whatever word you want to use for it, I think they understood those things much better than conservatives do, and it's why they were able to transform it. And only by understanding what they really think are we're going to be able to change course, because our current strategy on this is failing. If you enjoyed that video, be sure to hit the subscribe button so everyone wading through the wasteland of YouTube knows that we've got the absolute top content out there.